Hello YouTube, today we are going to review the Novice Program by AlphaDestiny. We're going to be strictly talking about programming, about lifts, what I think about the way the program is crafted. I will not be talking about AlphaDestiny as a person. But, disclaimer, I like the guy. I like his videos, I think he understands a lot about lifting, I think he's a great example for natural lifters. So, I will be dividing that video in two parts. One, where I review the training program by itself, and two, one where I read the description of the program and I basically go through his Q&A, his FAQ, and I check his answers as a way to delve into the program a little bit more and to see if my mentality matches his. Let me say also that if you watch the channel, you know that I don't hold universal truth. I know what worked for me. I know what worked for certain people that followed what I told them to do. So I'm going to base it off of that. So the reason why I want to cut the video too is that I find that, especially for programming videos, if they get longer than 20 minutes, it's tough to follow, I understand. I mean, I'm having fun talking about it because I love programming, I love lifting, but I understand that it's not something that's super engaging for 40 minutes straight. So I'm going to cut it in two parts. So let's start today in this video by the program in itself. And as an introduction, let's see what Alex has to say about it. So he says it's a novice program for first year lifters. And he also says if you cannot bench 225, squat 315, and deadlift 405, all of that for 5, then you're a novice lifter. If you watch my channel, you know that I don't really like to follow these guidelines because these are powerlifting guidelines, and his program is not for powerlifters, so I don't really understand why he would have such guidelines. That being said, setting a standard, even if it's not a standard that is universal at all, is sometimes an obligation. It's something you have to do. And as far as standards go, I don't see anything wrong with his. I think that anyone should be able to get those lifts. Not necessarily within the first year, but it's something that unless you have a disability, you should be able to do eventually, if you're a male. So, let's see about workout A. So I will not be posting the workouts in the description. I only post the outline of the workouts and the programs if I own the program. I do not own that program. Even though it's free, I will not be putting it in the description. You can use Google. Workout A. You start by box squatting. And you do, if I understand the way he... Okay, so you do 3 to 5 reps for 4 to 6 sets. And then you floor press or pose bench. Okay, so I think I understand the way he cuts. Yes, okay, so that's the sets and that's the reps. Okay, so box squats, 3 to 5 reps, 4 to 6 sets. I already have an issue with box squats because it's sort of the weapon of choice for novices, for most people, which I really don't like, because a box squat is not a squat, meaning that it's not the same motion, it's not the same stance, it doesn't hit the same muscles. The issue with the box squat is that it's going for most people to use a lot of lumbar spine, it's going to use a lot the musculature of your hips, and it's going to deload the legs, in my opinion. You're not going to use as much quads especially. I understand why Alex is doing that, because Alex doesn't want big quads because he's genetically gifted with them, so he doesn't want them to grow. I would say that novices should do free squats. You should do free squats. Now, should you do ass to grass? No, you can do parallel squats. And if you're unable to go parallel, then work towards the parallel. But the issue with box squats, in my opinion, is that it's a more technical lift than a lot of people give it credit to. It's not as simple as just sitting down and then pushing back up. As far as the rep range, I'm not against that. I sort of like that, especially because he says you shouldn't go to failure. So the 3 to 5 reps you're going to do for 4 to 6 sets are not going to be pushed to the brink. So doing 5 reps of challenging weight for 6 sets is pretty doable, especially because you only work out 2 days a week. And we'll get back to that. After that, you do floor press or pose bench. So first off, those two are not the same. Usually when you do a lift or B lift, they should work similar muscles in similar patterns. Those two don't work similar muscles. They both, of course, are horizontal presses, but in my opinion, novices should be doing pose bench, not necessarily floor press, because the floor press is going to really depend on the length of your arms, the amount of space between the bar and your chest. To me, a floor press should be an accessory used by more advanced lifters to raise the bench press once you have experience on it. So for me, you should really, if you're a novice, do pose bench press. And again, 3 to 5 reps, 4 to 6 sets, that's perfectly reasonable. Pendlay rows. If you've watched some of my programming videos, I do not like Pendlay rows for novices. Why? Because they usually don't have the mobility to get in position to do a Pendlay row. They don't have the discipline to know when they are doing it properly or not. A lot of people cheat a ton on their Pendlay rows. They use their legs too much. They raise their torso or they'll bring their torso to the bar, which is another Pendlay row. And as I said, it can be tough on certain people. Novices who don't have the hamstring mobility and the strength in the lower back to do them can get pain in the lower back. So I don't like Pendlay rows. Even though I'm not a big fan of machines and cables, I would have people do cable rows. That way you have an horizontal pull that is safer on the lower back and you can actually do them properly with ease. After that, overhead barbell extension. Same thing here. I love extensions. I love behind the neck extensions. They're very important for arm development. They're a good isolation. But the thing is, with a barbell, it requires a lot of mobility in the elbow and the wrist that a lot of novices don't have, which can lead to certain pains, especially in the wrists. So I would say use an easy bar to do that, or use dumbbells. After that, he says barbell or dumbbell preacher curl, which again are not the same thing. For bicep development, it's a completely different strength curve. The stress on the shoulder is different between a straight bar and a dumbbell. The movement is, it's not the same. And it's presented as if it was. So pay attention to that, but he's having people do curls, very important for arm development, so yes, good. As far as the rep range for both isolation movements, he says, I hope I didn't misread the other ones. Oh, okay. It's a 3x6. It's okay. It's 3 sets. Is that 3 sets? The change is... Oh, I'm not sure if I read that correctly. Because he seems to change the way he presents the sets and the reps midway, which you usually shouldn't be doing. Did I read that wrong? Oh no. No, I didn't. He just changed the way he presents the sets and the reps. So the first few lifts were 3... Oh no. So the first few lifts, actually, I misread. It's my bad, sorry. So the first few are sets of 3 or 5 on the box squat, and then you do 4 to 6 reps. And it's the same for the bench. Okay, I actually like it better than the other way around. So sorry about that. But same for the Pendlay row, I don't like that lift. So to go back on that, this is why I usually like to write sets and reps, because everyone uses different methods of categorizing these. So sorry about that, it's my fault. So he has you do 3 sets of 6 to 10 reps. I like that. I think it's a great rep range for isolation movements. And then he has you do stiff leg deadlift and good morning, which are sort of similar. I sort of like that. It's not exactly the same lift, but it's close enough. And he has you do, oh God, Alex, come on. He changes the way he writes down the sets and the reps. It's throwing me off. I think he says here 2 to 3 reps of 6 to 10 reps. I like the rep range. I think good mornings and stiff leg deadlift should always be done in higher rep ranges. So that's good. And I like those lifts too. And then he has you finish with weighted plank. Okay, so little critique, and I might not be the one in the best position to critique anyone on that, but I must say that being consistent on the way you write the reps is very important, because it really is confusing the way he did it. But I understand that it's a post from a long time ago. It's from 2015, so I get it. So let's speak about that workout. The rep range evolves, and that's a really good thing. Meaning that you're going to go from 3 to 5 sets, 4 to 6 reps. So with the same weight, you're going to be able to manipulate your reps and your sets, and that's incredibly intelligent. It's something that is missing from most novice programs, the ability to evolve within the reps. It is key. It is much more important than a lot of people think. You need to have the ability to do that, because it's going to prevent plateaus down the line. It's going to allow the lifter to experience higher peaks of volume, which when they become intermediate, if they're interested in looks, they are going to need that ability to hit volume and then to go back to lower volume with higher intensity. It's very important. So for me, that's the most important part of the program. It's the rep range and the set scheme, which I think is pretty smart here. But we'll talk about the frequency later at the end. So let's speak about workout B. Again, he has your box squat. I already explained why I don't like box squat. Posed overhead press. Posed overhead press, I don't really see why he would have novices pose. The overhead press, when it comes to touch and go and lifts, you can cheat doing touch and go. The overhead press is pretty low on the rankings. Why? Because it is not something where you can really bounce. I'm always more concerned with people who really cheat by pushing their spines back, and they transform the overhead press in basically an inclined press. That's dangerous. But using momentum to bring the bar up, I would say is perfectly fine. So I wouldn't advise novices to pose overhead press. To me, the pose overhead press is like a floor press. It's something you should be using later if you want to bring your overhead press touch and go up. Trap bar deadlift, it's for novices. So he has people use a trap bar. I don't like the trap bar, I really don't. I understand it's easier. So I will put aside my elitist mentality and say, if you want to do trap bar, if you're a novice, if you don't care about conventional deadlift, do it. So stick to it. Close grip bench press afterwards. So another horizontal press, which is good because novices need a lot of horizontal pressing. And I think the close grip bench press is a safe way to horizontal press, so that's good. And then he has you do weighted chin-ups, which if you're a novice, you won't be able to do weighted chin-ups. Meaning that I would be much more comfortable with novices doing reps, body weight reps on chin-ups and pull-ups until they can hit a set of 15 clean, like consistently you can get 15, and then I would have them put weight on. The reason why is because if you strap weight on them too fast and they're not used to it yet, they might compromise their form. They might cheat on the range of motion, etc., etc. You need to have them build a solid foundation on body weight horizontal pulls, which are very important. And then afterwards you can have them progress. But pull-ups is some of the toughest thing for novices to do. Most people cannot do one pull-up when they start training. So I would focus on body weight more. And then he has to do weighted plank again. I didn't really speak about weighted plank before, sorry about that. The weighted plank, as it stands, is not a bad thing, but I think that for size, for the abs, you need a dynamic movement. So I like crunches better. I know lots of people don't like crunches, I like them better. And also weighted planks, there's a logistic involved. How do you get the plate on your back? If you're that guy that always asks a gym bro to put the plate on the back, you're going to become annoying after a while because it's time consuming, especially since he has you do 3 sets. So unless you go with a bro, maybe do something dynamic instead. So that's my opinion on the lifts he has you do and the rep ranges he has you do. So just to sum it up, I would have novices do something else, not box squat. I would have them do a normal squat, not a front squat, a normal squat. I would have them post bench. I would replace the Pendlay row by an horizontal row. I would have them do extensions with something else than a barbell. I would have them do curls and not preacher curls, just do standing curls. I would have them do stiff leg deadlift, just because you should pull from the floor more than once a week. So you should do I think the good mornings can wait, especially since you do box squats already. But even if you didn't do box squats, if you followed what I say, do stiff leg deadlifts. And I would have you do some crunches, especially if you have an inclined bench where you can put your feet on top and stretch the abs. That's amazing. And then on workout B, same thing. I wouldn't pause on the overhead press. I would leave the trap bar deadlift because I understand why it's here. It's a smart choice. And I would have body weight chin-ups and not weighted chin-ups. So that's if I was to follow his template. My issue with his template is 2 days a week with that much exercise selection is going to involve a lot of volume. It's my personal opinion that novices should be babied a bit. I don't want to throw a novice in the gym for 2 hours because they're going to burn out. And most likely their muscles are not going to be able to take the amount of work. Even though it's full body, he has you do full body, most novices don't have the mental capacity or the physical stamina to do that. I would much rather have the novice go to the gym 3 times a week for only an hour. But that's my personal bias on it. I think also it is better for muscle size because you are going to hit the muscles every 2 days pretty much. And then, as far as the frequency within the program, I don't have an issue with it. I understand why he has people pull from the floor only once a week. I personally would want more than that. I think the human body can take more than that. As far as how the exercises are set up, he doesn't really have you do any supersets, which wastes time. But on the other hand, it's better for performance. So I get it. It's easy to burn out a novice having them do too many supersets. He has isolation movements in it, which is really good. I would say that I find it strange that he has all of the isolation movements on workout A and not on workout B. I don't know what's up with that. But as far as a novice program goes, it's a good program. Even though I've criticized it, I criticize because anything you put in front of me, I will criticize. I'm sure that in 6 months, or even now, if I looked at one of the programs that I have on the channel, I would be able to find faults in it. Why? Because you can always do better. And because my mentality evolves and my mood in the moment is going to affect some of the ideas I have. But I think that there is a baseline to respect where an idea can be not optimal, but can still be extremely beneficial. And I think that that's that type of program. Even if you run the program exactly as written, as he says, and you don't listen to anything I said, you're going to make good gains. Because the rep scheme and the set scheme is smart. So you're going to have good progress. And the lifts he has you do builds a solid base. He basically has you touch every single type of lifts that are going to be relevant as you evolve. And that's the most important thing, because you're going to stay a novice for a very short period of time, but you're then going to be an intermediate, advanced, elite for the rest of your life. So your novice phase shouldn't be really focused on performance. It should be focused on building a base that's going to then carry you later and prevent injuries in the long run and teach you good habits. And for that, I think the AlphaDestiny Novice Program is a good program. And to me, it's a testimony of the guy's knowledge, because he wrote that when he was young. It was a while ago, and it's effective. This to me shows an understanding of natural lifting and its basis. So I can get behind that. So that's it for my critique of the program, and I apologize for the small blunder with the rep scheme that really got me confused. But I like his rep scheme and set scheme, as I said, and I like the program. So if you have any questions regarding that, let me know in the comments, and I will make a part 2 video where I delve into his FAQ, because most likely the people who asked me to review his program also have the same questions as the novices on his website have. So thank you for watching. Have a good day.